So it's my pleasure now to introduce Jude McCann. He's a 2017 scholar, presented in Glasgow in 2018. He's very proud to tell me. He's going to remind us how important it is to look after ourselves and to look after each other, and to highlight the work of FCN. We're going to start with a video, so I have some magic code words. Play the video.
The British countryside, natural, tranquil, beautiful. It's an environment created and maintained by our farmers, working the land and caring for the livestock. But for farmers, all is not as peaceful as it seems. Long hours, isolation, unpredictable weather, animal disease. And then there's the bills, the vet's bills, the maintenance, the feed for the animals, the loneliness, the constant struggle, plus the expectation you'll pull through and hand it on to the next generation. Farmers need support. They may seem strong, but they are vulnerable and in need of support just like everyone else. With your help, the Farming Community Network can be there to provide support to those who are struggling to cope in the farming community.
Hello, you're speaking with Alison from the Farming Community Network. How may I help you?
Whether the issue is personal or business related, our volunteers are there to support anyone who seeks our help, walking with them and helping them find a positive outcome to their situation.
Every year, our volunteers travel over 130,000 miles in support of the farming community, helping approximately 6,000 people. But in order to do this, we need your help. We rely heavily on donations in order to continue this vital work.
My name is Minette Batters. I am President of the National Farmers Union and represent 55,000 farming and growing businesses across England and Wales. I think it's important to make the point that actually sometimes farming can be lonely. I know on my farm it seems an idyllic spot today, but through the winter, this winter, it was a tough time. And FCN are there for you, not only when things have gone really challenging and really difficult, but there to support you on that journey. And that is why they are such an important charity to me and to the NFU as a whole.
Whether you choose to fundraise for us or simply make a donation, you will be helping farmers and their families gain access to the support they desperately need. On behalf of everyone at the Farming Community Network, we thank you.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, Borada. How privileged are we in this audience? How privileged are we to enjoy a 5-course meal last night, to be part of the farming community, to be part of Nuffield. My key message today is about seeking help. There is no shame in seeking help. Every one of us in this room at some stage in our lives will need help. Please reach out and talk to someone. Talk to your doctor as you would do about your physical health. Please talk to them about your mental health as well. Talk to a friend, talk to a neighbour. I'm privileged to be working with FCN for almost 3 years now. We work predominantly across England and Wales, but we do get calls from across the UK, and increasingly we're being asked to give presentations and trainings in Scotland and Northern Ireland. Hopefully folks can see this at the back of the room, but this is probably the old model of the Farm Crisis Network, which we were originally called. We have now changed the name to the Farming Community Network. Along the axis at the bottom is time, and up on the left it's stress or ill health. As the problems mount, unfortunately, people often leave it quite a long time before they pick up the phone and contact FCN, and we can intervene. This is a current model and our new model that we want to be much more upstream. We want to be more proactive in supporting people before the problem becomes a crisis. So that's why we have set up Farm Well. We're increasingly out throughout the farming community delivering trainings around well-being support for the agricultural community, and a few other projects where we are doing our best to be as proactive as we can be. So what is Farmwell? Farmwell is an online platform that was set up after the Doug Avery tour that some of you, I know, attended. We wanted to have a resource where people could access information, whether you're a farm business consultant, a bank manager, a vet, or a farmer. There's some fantastic resources on this around personal resilience, business resilience, and one example that I give you is around dementia. You know, very often we're out on farms and we don't know what the issues might be that are presented to us. We have a section there around dementia, just one example of the many issues, but you can download that information on your next visit, then you can have the conversation and offer people useful resources and ways of getting help and support. This has been very successful in England, so much so that the Welsh Government contacted us and asked us to do the same in Wales. So we now have Farmwell Wales. It's in English and Welsh. And we are putting more and more resources into Wales. We're currently advertising for a national manager for FCN Cymru. Anyone interested, come and have a chat afterwards. So coming out of COVID, it's been a tough couple of years. One of the things that we've been doing in FCN is around farmer breakfasts, thinking of people in our own farming community who've lost loved ones over the last couple of years, maybe haven't went back to going out to the pub on a Friday night or going to church on a Sunday, or volunteers going out and actively picking people up on the farms, taking them to a social event. It could be a farm walk. And so we set up these reconnecting events. And thank you to Roger Mercer, who's here with us, has been supporting FCN over the last couple of years. On the back of the reconnecting events that have proved very popular and useful, we are now launching a yarn in a barn. Somebody said to me, it sounds very Irish, but I'm hopeful it will work across England and Wales. Basically, this idea came out of a suicide in Buckinghamshire, and a farmer contacted us in FCN and said, you know, it's impacted me, it's impacted all my friends, but nobody's really talking about it. Would someone from FCN come along and facilitate a conversation? It was in between lockdowns. He had it in his barn. There was no formal presentation, no slides, and they had an open, honest conversation about how that suicide was affecting everyone. So we're rolling this out across England and Wales with the help of Roger, where we're encouraging groups to hold these yarn in a barn sessions. It doesn't have to be in a barn, but I thought it was a catchy title. But actually, choose a topic of interest to that specific area. It could be bovine TB, it could be a new infrastructure project in the area, it could be mental health, it could be whatever that community wants. Have it as farmer-led. So if there's anybody in the room interested in getting involved, please do get in contact with us in FCN. We have some fantastic volunteers across England and Wales, and I know they have saved lives in the farming community. They've helped save farm businesses and family relationships. I just want to mention a couple of names who are in the room with us today. Jeff Sansom, Margaret Herbert, Teresa Meadows, Diana Allen, Rachel Watkins, Stephen McKendrick, Joe Speed, Rebecca Hill, all FCN volunteers and all Nuffield scholars. Thank you for what you do. Could I have a round of applause, please, for the work you do. What a privilege to hear Nigel Owen last night talk about what he did. Mental health, unfortunately, there's still a huge stigma around it, but every one of us in this room has mental health. We go through periods in our life where our mental health is good and other periods where it's poor. We want to encourage people to open up, seek help, and get the help as and when needed. We have a lot of work to do in this sector. I often hear people say, no, the younger generation coming forward are much better at seeking help and support. We have a young volunteer down in Norfolk that I was talking to recently. He's only 2 years out of Harper Adams, and I said to him, are you and your friends more likely to seek help when you need it than your dad or your granddad? And he said to me, no, actually, I think we're just as bad as my dad and my granddad's generation. So we in FCN are working with people at all age groups across the country. Nigel Owens picked up on a point around diversity and inclusion, and we in FCN have just started our journey in improving diversity and inclusion as a charity. I think the point was made about the those that served us the food last night, and you look at the audience here, and we're 98%, 99% white, looks like me. What can Nuffield do to improve that diversity? You go to the NFU conference up in Birmingham, the British Farming Awards, it's exactly the same. What can we all do to start embracing the diverse community that we have on these islands and get them part of our communities? Last point I want to make is I've been very privileged to be elected as one of the OFC directors starting in January, and I know Emily Norton wouldn't want me to leave the stage without giving the OFC a good plug. There are a few tickets left. Please do get those booked, and we look forward to seeing you in January at the OFC. Thank you, everybody, for your time.